Hello and welcome back to Under the Blanket Book Reviews, the coziest book review show on the internet. I'm your host, Josh. So I may or may not have stayed up all night. Could not sleep in the slightest. I got a few hours somewhere in there, but I remember staying up super late and then waking up at like 4:30 a.m. So yeah, and when I couldn't sleep during that time, I decided to read The Sigh of Haruhi Suzumiya, the second book in the Haruhi series. Now, I don't have a physical book to show you here today because I read it on my phone, but yeah, I'll give my quick thoughts. This one I have a lot quicker thoughts on than the last one, I think. This one is covering. I love like the concept and conceit of this arc. I love the concept and conceit of this arc in the show as well. Um, but the execution itself really frustrates me, and I think that's the point. I think that's what the intention is here, but it doesn't make it any more enjoyable. So in this arc, and before I do that, something interesting that they've been doing is that the narrative is in a different order than it was in the show, which is actually really interesting and cool. And it's interesting because there's two different show watching orders as well. So now there's like three different narrative orders for the Haruhi story, and it's just a confusing mess. But I think that's like almost by design based on the nature of Haruhi as a series. But yeah, so in this one they're making like a student film for some school festival. And I think the problem that I really have with this one is that everyone is at their worst. Keon is just misogynistic, brooding asshole. Haruhi is a manipulative, rude, sexually harassing, evil bitch in this one. For lack of a better phrase, what a cunt. And Koizumi is being a manipulative asshole as well, and he's not usually a manipulative asshole. So it's just really just everyone is at their rare form worst behavior, and it's just really frustrating to read for that reason. It's just everyone being an asshole and tensions boiling and everyone angry. It's like when a friend group is at like that boiling point, where everyone is just kind of tense and mad at each other and snapping at each other. That's what reading this book feels like. And if that's the intention, it does an incredibly effective job at that. But does that make it an enjoyable read? Absolutely not. I did read it in like one or two sittings, which means it was engaging enough. I mean, if you read something in one or two sittings, it has to be engaging unless you're forced to read it for work, of course. But so I give it that. But yeah, this arc in the show I remember just being incredibly frustrating as well. But the benefit of watching this arc in the show is that you get to watch this shitty, awful student film after. In a book, you can't do that. You just get, oh, we made a shitty, awful student film, and it's like you don't get the payoff for everyone being an asshole. You don't get that like that fun spurt of a few minutes that you get. Or actually, it was a whole episode in the show was the student film, so never mind, you get a whole episode of payoff for everyone acting like a total bitch to each other. And in the book you just get everyone acting like a total bitch and then it ends. And yeah, I feel like almost no one grows from their behavior. I feel like everyone's just a static asshole in this book. And yeah, it's definitely much worse for that reason than the first book. I'm interested to see how the third book goes. I think the third one's a collection of short stories, which should be interesting. But yeah, this one was just a frustrating read all the way through. Honestly, like, I'd say skip it. Like, I feel like you can skip it. I feel like you don't have to read this one. I don't think there was any like huge, insanely relevant like plot developments that would make it essential. But yeah, that's the review.